There, boom. What's up, fellas? How are you? Welcome to the show. Welcome to the goddamn Cock-a-Doodie Free Swim Friday Gabbing Games for July 18th, something like that. I don't know. It's 19th today. It's Friday the 19th. Now, listen, I want to tell you a couple things real quick before we get rolling. This Free Swim Friday, which means any topic goes, okay? There's a link at the top of the chat. Excuse me, on the YouTube. I'll put it up here if you're watching on the... on Twitter or Twitch. I'm happy to bring you in. Just let me know if you want the thing. But that'll let you phone in with your, with your camera or just your audio, whatever. It's kind of out of the goddamn, whatever the fuck you want to talk about today. Games we'll talk about. I have a couple news stories lined up. I got a weird, scary UFO thing as it relates to me. I'm officially now kind of freaked out by aliens. I'll tell you what's going on there. But really, whatever you guys want to talk about. So anything you may have put in the chat, I'm not going to go back through it. Just retype it. I do want to also let you know before we start, today and in the foreseeable future, as long as I have them, I got a wonderful little gift in the mail from this company right here. Let's see. They're called Misfortunes fortune cookies for 18 and up. They're pretty much, it's like Cards Against Humanity meets fortune cookies. So anybody who subs to the channel over on Twitch or right here, I'll pop open one of these for you, and we'll see what your fortune is. I'll eat the cookie, of course, and I'll eat it in your honor, and I'll read it to you. But these are nasty, apparently. I haven't opened them yet, so I don't know how they taste. I'm sure they taste pretty good, but what they say about your future is not very, I don't know. Maybe people won't subscribe at that point. But again, Misfortune Cookies, thank you for the cookies. I appreciate them. We got a whole set of them back there. This one is Boozy Dozen. And then we got some Sexy Time ones back there and some other ones. So it's kind of like fortune cookies by way of Spencer's gifts. So that's cool. Thank you guys for sending that, Misfortunes. I do very much appreciate it. Now, Jaffe, please go to Legally Armed America and watch the two latest videos. Trump's stock was shorted for millions before assassination, and there was a second shooter. Okay, sure. We'll do that in a minute. We'll do that. And let me just say hey to the chat, and then if that's where you guys want to go today, you guys are in control of the rabbit hole. Yeah, it sounds filthy. Jingle Jangle says, "Can I open one for you?" Problem is, you gotta sub. I know you just subbed to the goddamn Cult Calypso. God damn it, if you sub this week, fuck it, it counts. I'll open one for you in a second. Hello, DJ, good to see you, buddy. Random Moose Brain's been a member for 44 months. My goodness, goddamn gracious. Thank you, buddy. He says weekend is here. Woot, absolutely. Bukaki Drive-By has been a member for 32 months. He says touch my pee-pee. If I could find it, I still wouldn't touch it, but. We gotta send an expedition. We have better luck of finding a goddamn lost temple in North America from, an ancient civilization than anyone does is finding your microscopic penis. It's probably safe to short any Trump business, let's be honest, says Gun. Yeah, I don't fucking know. But listen, it's Free Swim Friday, which means politics are on the table. We don't have to talk about politics at all. And we're going to start talking about video games, of course, but we can get into politics if you want, but we can also, I'm going to get into some I Love the Weird topics as well. I just prefer we didn't say much about politics because, I'm going to change your mind, you're going to change my mind? No. But as we kick off the show, let us say thank you for Jingle Jangle for joining. Jingle Jangle is part of the troupe that is running or involved with Jeremy is also one of our newest members here on the Cult Calypso, and he is running a Twisted Metal D&D campaign that I will be part of, and I will be streaming. I don't know if that's coming up next week, where we're just doing a trial run, and then I'll actually stream the official one. I'm not sure. I got to talk to Jeremy tonight or tomorrow. But the point is, how exciting. I love D&D. I love Twisted Metal. I got to roll a car, roll a character. But in the meantime, Jingle Jangle, here we go, baby. This is your cookie. Jingle Jangle, thank you for being a member of the Cult Calypso. Let's see what fate has in store for you, my good sir. All right, we are opening it live on camera. Thank you again, Misfortunes, for this, for your Misfortune cookies. I'll put a link down below. Jaffe gonna be that D&D player always asking if there's girls there. I don't know what you're talking about. There we go. Looks like a little vagina. It's Zebukagi. All right, the fortune is being opened. My good sir, Jingle Jangle. Here is your fortune. Tonight, you will achieve what no one ever thought you could. Consent. Hey, now. Hey, tonight you will achieve what no one ever thought you could. Consent. There you go, baby. Thank you, Misfortunes, for that. And welcome to the Cult Calypso, sir. Mm-hmm. I'm good. I'm good. I'm good cookie. All right. Okay. Talk about, I'm not going to eat on stream, though. People hate when I do that. I get it. It's good cookie, though. Or maybe I'll eat it during a break. Talk about Concord. Yeah, man. Look. I don't know. I haven't checked with the Concord. Let me go see where the database, Steam database is right now with Concord. How come I'm not getting... why am I not seeing any streams and chats in here from the Twitch? I see you guys over there. DJ says, oh yeah, speaking of Twisted Metal, still no information on the second season. Well, I mean, I know that it is shooting right now, right? So that's happening. But in terms of information, and we know they've hired a couple of new actors for it, but in terms of what other information are you assuming that would be out by now about Twisted Metal? Okay, so Steam, let's just see where Concord is, and I'll tell you what I'm thinking about it. So yeah, I've been playing it a lot. I got it on my PC. I got that working. I played it last night, played it a little bit today. Let's see where they're at with this in terms of people playing it, because people have really been digging into these numbers. But this is the weekend, I think, to determine what people think, because it's free this weekend. You don't have to have purchased it. You can play it on PC or PS5. I don't know if you need PS Plus to play it over on PS5, but anyway, I like it. I think it's a well-made game. If you strip out the character issues, which I do not really care for the characters, I don't care for the obsession with telling a story. Somebody over, I think he goes by Men in Boxes. He's kind of full of himself. I think it's the weirdest thing. He talks a lot about making service games is easy. It's so easy to know what's going to succeed. And I'm like, well, bitch, you go do it then. People like that. It's just like, Jesus, man. But anyway, he did have a good point where he was talking about all the money that Sony has set aside clearly to spend on the weekly or twice a month movies, little CG movies and stuff. And it's just like, dude, nobody cares. Nobody gives a fuck about that except the writer. It's like, please don't waste your money on that, you know? But fundamentally, though, my biggest problem with the gameplay part is fundamentally what all hero shooters struggle with, right? Which is, if you don't want to be team-minded, then it's really not a game for you. Like, I found a character I really like. She's the lady with the missiles and Cora or Kona or whatever. And I like how she moves. I like her weapons. It's good stuff. But if somebody else picks her before I get to pick her, I'm having to play characters I don't like. And I get that's the genre. I get that's Overwatch. But I wonder how long, especially at $40 and especially with Marvel Rivals out, it's going to sustain. I certainly do not think it's a bad game at all. I think it's very well made. I know that there are some balance issues, but it's a beta. It's, you know, give it time. Yes, Ravnos, the one with her face in a helmet, where and she's got what look like nipple rings, but her nipples are way off to the side, so I don't think that's what they're supposed to be. But yeah, she's great. I love playing her. Chris says Zenless Zone is what you should be playing. I played Zenless Zone, man. I dug it I love the theme of it. I love the look of it. The combat felt great, but fundamentally it's just kind of I don't like gacha games. I just don't. They get very boring to me, but I love the world. I absolutely love the premise, and I love the way it looks and everything. TGM says, Jaffe, after Gotham Knights, do you think Warner Brothers should make a Teen Titans game? Some cool power sets there. I mean, look, I like Teen Titans, and I don't know where they are now. The last Teen Titans group of comics I read was where Lobo's daughter was in it, and she was pissed at him and she hated him. And there was this kind of fat character that I thought was kind of cool, who I think had a crush on Lobo's daughter. It's good, but I don't think that, I think Warner Brothers needs to take a seat right now and figure out what the fuck they're doing. But certainly team-based multiplayer games, I think, are any kind of service game is a real fucking challenge these days. And I don't know. I have no idea I wouldn't go down that road. Teen Titans aren't really big enough for that, frankly. I think it's a mistake if they're thinking about it. Solemn Jester says, I haven't tried Marvel Rivals yet. It's not out yet. It's been in some, like, a closed beta. I wasn't a big fan of Overwatch because I'm not a fan of heavily competitive games. He says, yeah, I mean, that's kind of the thing. It's like these characters that I've encountered so far in Concord are so different from each other, which is great. But it almost feels like it feels like not very smart design, in the sense that, you know, and I'm guilty of this. I was guilty of this with Twisted Metal 2012. Like, you can over design something and you can fall in love with your own design porn. And I did that. And it was like, oh, no. See, this character is different from this character. And because of that, when this character does this character can counter it with, you know, and it was fun to talk about. And it was fun to sort of think up. And it was fun when it actually worked. But the truth is, what it didn't do is take into account the way most people play multiplayer games. And I think if you don't start with that as a design pillar, you're basically just praying that everyone's going to jump on board with what you want them to do. And more often than not, players just go for team deathmatch and blast things. And so it's fun to design for esports and thinking about people talking about the depth and strategy of your game. But if you don't design that entry stuff that's just fun without any of that, you kind of get fucked. And I do think Concord has a little bit of problems with that. Absolutely. But we'll see. Sasale says, I feel it's smart to charge $40. If the game is going to fail, may as well make $40 per user versus paying enough people to buy enough MTX over a free-to-play game. I mean, I think they want this to be, I think they're already in. They want this to be a big deal, right? And so I think, you know, if they feel that the game doesn't merit purchase, I mean, it's weird because there's not a lot of things to chase right now in the game either. So when you play it, even though I hate, like, the purest designer in me says the moment-to-moment gameplay should be enough to make you addicted to it. And there is some truth to that, but we've been conditioned very well by a lot of other games over the decades that if there's not something to chase, it isn't as sticky, no matter how good the moment to moment is. And so that feels pretty soft and weak as well. So maybe they're charging 40 because they're like, we got nothing compelling to sell. I don't know. But anyway, we'll see how it does. Like I said, my biggest thing with it is I hope that Sony keeps the team going. I hope they give them a lot of runway. It is a good fucking game. It's not like Drawn to Death where I loved it. Some people loved it, but there's no doubt, it didn't check all the fundamentals of what a great shooter needs in terms of control and all that. Excuse me. And in that, there was some, we earned some of the negative reviews there. But I think with this, it's clearly a game that's made by a team that knows what they're doing. And even if, this is a miss, I hope Sony's like, okay, get back up on the horse. Let's make something else with you guys. Because they're really talented, man. It's fucking awesome. Have I played Disney Speedstorm? Yeah, I think it's great. Disney Speedstorm's a lot of fun. But I kind of, again, I'm not a big service guy. I can see the it's not that I mind free to play. I love it, like in games like Hearthstone or now more importantly Marvel Snap. But with Speedstorm, it felt like you could tell that you were buying power, and the minute I smell that on the game, I'm like, yeah, I'm done. I can't, because then I don't know, how I'm competing. Then I don't know if I'm good because I'm good or whatnot. Let me bring in the man real quick, and then I'll bring you in Ravnos in a second. I don't want to spend too much time on Concord, but we can talk about it briefly. I know you've spent some time playing it. Bukaki says they should make cool, interesting characters and gameplay instead of pandering and copying other popular media. Who? Are you talking about Sony? The problem, the problem with it is that, the shit's expensive, so you can't take as many chances as you wanted to back, or you could back in the day. Mutant Mo says, hey, 37 months. Thank you, buddy. He says, are any of you guys going to play NES World Champs? I like the idea. If you don't know what he's talking about, it is, it's like a bunch of little Wario mini games, but they're literally the old NES games, and they have challenges like, okay, get to the end of this level in 40 seconds, or how fast can you do it? And there's like 8 or 9 or 10 games they do that with. My understanding, though, is that they don't have leaderboards, or if they don't have, there's something the fans have gotten pissed about where it kind of kneecaps it in terms of making it a competitive game. But I'll probably give it a play. Because it does look interesting. But I'm with you. I'm still playing Angerfoot. I'll show you guys what I'm playing in a second. Let me bring in the man, see what he wants to talk about. One moment. All right. The man. Is this Becky Lynch? What's up?
Yep. Hello. Can you hear me?
I can hear you great. What's up?
All right. So did you see the new Batman Arkham game?
The PS VR. Or the VR? Yeah. I mean, I've seen the trailer that they put out there. I don't think they've had any new stuff, have they?
No, but I have a question. If you were to be in charge of the Arkham games, what would you have done differently?
You mean the ones that have already come and gone, like, Arkham Asylum and Arkham Knight and all that?
I would say just for this new VR game, would you make a VR, what would you do with it?
I think the Echo, by the way, should be gone, you guys.
Yeah.
And it was Batman?
Yeah, the Arkham games.
I'm not a huge Batman guy. Okay, here's what I would do. I mean, this is just because it's fresh on my mind. Here's what I would do. I'm playing right now a lot of this new game called, let me put it up on the screen so you guys can see it when we're talking about it. It's a game called Nobody Wants to Die, right? And it is very much, it's almost like the Batman VR game they did for PS VR 1, where you were able to kind of rewind time, and you were able to sort of explore Wayne Manor, and you went into the asylum and you had that cool Joker moment. It was more of almost like a Telltale VR game, and that's kind of what this is like. I think when I put on a headset, I want to feel like I'm immersed in a real story, and less about, oh, look, I get to throw the Batarang, or, oh, look, I get to whatever. I get to, I don't know what else. He doesn't throw much. He, punch people or whatever. And the company that's making this game, the new Batman game, are the same company that made the Iron Man game for PSVR.
Oh, really? I didn't know
that. And I thought that was a great game. I thought it had a lot of fan service. It was really cool. You spent a lot of time as Tony and talking about his father and looking at his Malibu mansion and learning about his character and his relationship with Pepper Potts. It wasn't just like put on the armor and fly. And I think that's cool and it bodes well for the new Batman. But I also think that ultimately that game was pretty much just an action game where you fly around. So I think for me in VR, I would probably focus more on the aspects of the character that are less about the action and more about sort of just being Batman and being Bruce Wayne in VR. Even if it felt a little bit more scripted, I'd want more of like an interactive movie experience than I would an action game in VR. That's what I would do.
Gotcha. One more thing though.
Yeah.
So are we allowed to talk about anything on here, like with recent events and stuff?
Yeah, it's free. It's Free Swim Friday, baby.
Oh,
get in the pool. Come on now.
Okay. I was wondering. So you know about the assassination attempt on Trump, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think Kratos could have stopped the bullet from hitting Trump?
Well, what does that mean? Could he have jumped in front of it and survived? Of course.
Yeah,
but I mean, would he, do what stopped it? What way? Are you saying would he have listened to the people that were saying, "Hey, there's a guy on the building"? Like there was multiple ways to stop it.
Do you think with like the speed feats of Kratos, would he have been able, like, if he was in the audience watching from the bleachers, would he have been able to see the bullet coming and then jump in with his speed time and his reaction time? Or
I mean, he might have. I'd like to think he wouldn't have wanted to. Here's what I'd like to think would have happened. I'd like to think, that's a tough one, man, because I can't separate myself from one of the creations I worked on. I would hate to see Kratos as a Trump voter, but he probably, let's be honest, is. Out of all the characters I've worked on, if one of them's going to vote for Trump, it's probably Kratos.
Well, do you think he'd
So in that, I guess, yeah, I'm sure he could have done it if he wanted to, and given that he probably was at the rally in a supportive role, yeah, he probably would have stopped it.
So, but wait, do you think Kratos, instead of him being like a Trump supporter, do you think he would just be like, "Hey, I don't want to see someone die"? Because in his
he doesn't care.
I mean, in his most recent adaptations in the Ragnarok game, he's kind of chilled out a lot from his past, games.
Yeah, but that's not canon in my fantasy. I don't really give it.
Gotcha.
In my mind, what happened is at the end of 3, basically the Sisters of Fate were like going, "Hey, let's make this thread of where Kratos' life could go." And that's what Ragnarok was, and that's what 2018 was. And then after the end, we haven't seen this part of the story yet. They're like, "Oh, that sounds dreadful. All right, back to the normal timeline." And they pick it up right where 3 leaves off. That's terrible. I liked 2018 a great deal. I thought it was great. I actually thought the gameplay of Ragnarok was excellent. The production was excellent. I just didn't like the story and the pacing. That's all.
If they approached you for a 4th God of War game in your own vision, would you have done it right now?
Okay, well, that's a big if. I don't think they ever would. But I think if I had Shannon as the producer, then I think that could be a lot of fun. But I wouldn't want to do it without Shannon.
So what would it have gone through? Would it, the Egyptian pantheon?
Well, I mean, you can go online to God of War Directors Live or something, and I spend 30 minutes doing the whole narrative of what it would have happened. But yeah, ultimately, it would have been about destroying the old gods and the rise of the new gods is what it would have been.
Would Jesus Christ have been in one of them, or
he was supposed to be at the end of God of War? I don't know what number it would have been, but yeah, the birth of Jesus was the end of the whole trilogy, and then Kratos basically became the Grim Reaper, and he melted down the blades of chaos in the river Styx, and that became the Scythe, and he forevermore walks the earth, murdering people.
Kind of like Ghost Rider, he punishes those.
I hadn't thought that much about it. I don't know what his motivation is, other than he just likes to kill things.
I would like to see you make a Ghost Rider game. I think that'd be really nice.
They made one for the PSP. It was basically a God of War ripoff.
Yeah, no, it was a PS2 as well. When I was a kid, I got that game. That game was awesome.
Gotcha.
But in today's technology and society, I think something like that would be really nice.
They may come back. Ghost Rider is coming to the MCU sort of proper, and so maybe he'll become a big hit and they'll do it. All right, buddy. Thank you for the call. I appreciate it.
Bye.
Thanks, man. All right. Ravnos, what's up?
And to fight Superman or the Hulk?
I'm sorry, do it again.
I was just kidding. Concord. I want to hear why I think it won't work
Boy,
and
do I.
end up getting shut down.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, forget the characters, the design of them. Because from what I hear, people that like the game and don't like the necessary look of the characters, they literally go like, this looks like a character roster made by committee. They like the powers and they like how they all feel different. The biggest issue, and this is not my original concept, it's stuff that I sort of noticed, but watching Skill Up's kind of review of the beta, he pointed out why it's going to flop.
Why? What
Do
do you
you
say?
realize? Because when you win a match, the next round, you don't get to play the character you were using. You have to pick a new one, unless you have variants unlocked.
I don't
Supposedly, it's
think
in
that's true because I mean,
they
I
don't let you
played
pick
it
'em if you're on a
today.
streak. But did you keep winning?
Oh, okay. No, I probably win and then lose and win and then lose. So
Yeah.
you're saying
See,
if you win,
Yeah, they make you choose a different character.
do you
And
stay
then-
with the same team?
I believe you can, but the weird thing is, like you said, the way the teams are picked, it goes in order. So if someone picks the character you're good at, then you have to have another character you're like a backup character.
Well,
The
yeah, I mean
only
that's kind of what I
exception-
mean about design porn.
Yeah.
It feels like and I get it. Like I said, I've been susceptible of it because I'm sure if you pin the designer down, they would say, "Oh, well, that's because this, and this," and I get it, and it's probably a really well thought out position. But the fact of the matter is, as much as that's true, that's not coalescing with the way gamers want to engage with your software.
Exactly.
And in that, no matter how clever your design is, it's going to make people walk away.
Yeah, from a design standpoint, if you're trying to make an esport, it makes perfect sense because it helps to balance the rosters on the teams so that you don't just have one team dominating because they just have like the world's best trash can robot is on this
Right,
team.
right,
and
right,
also
right,
the world's
right.
best system.
I got
So
it.
they
Yeah,
have
but
to
now
change it up.
Shaw Slay says she thinks or they think it was one mode that you can't do that in. So is that
It
every
may
mode or
be one
specific?
mode.
So I can go with that. I get that. It's like, hey, we have a mode that's really hardcore. It's all strategic. It's about playing, really role playing the classes. Blah blah blah. And in that, I can see why that makes sense. But I wouldn't make it part of the whole game. The one thing I found when I was playing today was I went in. I immediately went to pick that Kona woman with the rocket launcher that I like.
Yep.
And I got her, and then about 2 seconds before the match started, there was like a jump cut, and they just put me into a different character, and somebody else got to play her. And so
that's lame.
it may, again, I don't know what mode I was in. It didn't explain it. It just did it. So, but I mean, again, if you're coming into a hero shooter like that, maybe that's just the genre. But at that point, like I said, I mean, I think it's hard enough to make a mark in any kind of shooter game. The fact that you're now going into this one, I don't know if there's room for more than one big one like Overwatch. I know Awesome Tatum played the Marvel Rivals game. I assume Marvel Rivals doesn't or does the same thing, but I don't know.
Yeah, Marvel Rivals looks different enough from Overwatch and this because of the climbing on the walls, flying, hovering, super
Yeah, but I mean in
jumping.
terms of can 3 people be Spider-Man at once? Or
Yeah,
if
I
you
don't know.
Yeah, so we'll see.
More than likely not.
But I think it's going to fail because it's $40. I think
Yep.
it has the it's thematically not offensive at all. It's just not very appealing conceptually.
Well, does it make sense? Because okay, you're the free whatevers, like you're people
The
on
free
ship.
gunners, yeah.
Sure, you remember the free gunners. So why in the hell are you running around killing each other? Like, is that?
I don't care
how
about
are
that.
they
Who
gonna
the
put-
fuck knows?
But if
I
they're
don't
gonna
care.
have story beats, then shouldn't it kind of make sense?
No, that's the least of their problems. It doesn't worry me at all. That's kind of like saying I don't understand how is Sonya Blade back in Mortal Kombat 2? She died in Mortal Kombat 1.
But
It's like
you know, what I mean? Yeah, but Mortal Kombat has story. Like
well,
they
so
kinda
does this.
tell
Anyway,
stories
no,
in
that
Mortal
doesn't bother me. What I just don't think there is. It's not a powerful conceptual brand. Somebody on the chat the other day said they should have done it with Sony characters, and I think that's a great idea. But that would have made a lot more sense. But I think this is one of those cases where either nobody thought to put their foot down or they didn't want to. I don't know. It's just weird to me that a team with this pedigree would be like this. And again, I am progressive. I think DEI is important, but the characters are so poorly designed and so about that seemingly that it seems like it came at the expense of interesting. Like you can be DEI and super diverse, but still interesting. This just feels like really badly fucking done. I think it's terrible.
You love to use generic, but in this case, yeah, they're all really, really generic looking.
And like I said yesterday, when you look at the Juno woman, who's the new character in Overwatch 2 that they're letting people play this weekend, she's fucking awesome. I don't know what she does. She's a healer, but she's a cooler fucking character that you want to be. I don't want to be any of these motherfuckers. They just look boring. All right, Ravnos, thanks, buddy. Yep, thanks, bud. Talk to you later, Ravnos. All right. Listen, no. Let's be clear. Somebody, FBI agent, is asking about, is this a MAGA-friendly... look, I can't stand Donald Trump. I hope he loses. I think he's a piece of shit. But I'm not going to hate you because you have different political views than I do. But if you think this is a place where you're going to come and spew any kind of horse shit on either side, that's not accurate. Jingle Jangle, the reason I put your thing up there, he says, what do you think of the story of Robert Johnson? I don't know who that is. So that's why I put it up there, because I wanted to remind myself to respond, which is like, who? So maybe that's the answer. What I think about Robert Johnson, I don't know. Okay. And people were asking about Destiny. My understanding is Destiny's that guy who said, I know he was on with Piers, what's that guy's name? Not Piers Anthony. That's a writer. Piers Morgan or something. That he said, I think the thing that I took issue with him was just the fact that he was like the guy who got shot and died, who was just an innocent bystander just because he was a Trump supporter. He was kind of shitty to him. But that seemed pretty bad, but I don't know, man. I don't know. Give me 44 fortune cookies, you old Benji Martinez. Okay, I'll tell you what, Benji. If you call in for an anniversary and you want a fortune cookie, absolutely, I'll give you a fortune cookie. Give me a minute, I'll do it in a couple. Let me get some more chats and stuff. But yeah, okay. This is JJJ coming in. What's up, pal? JJJ, it's Jaffe. What's going on? All right, well, you're on if you want to talk. Okay. All right, let me go to some other topics I got here. Like I said, I got... and JJ, if you want to jump in, you can. You're on the show. But I don't know what to tell you because I can't hear you, so maybe you're not connected or something. Who knows? Okay, let's see what I got lined up for all of us to discuss. Well, let's talk about the unionization thing. And this is a game-related story. This is Totillo is breaking this story. Bethesda Game Studios unionizes with Microsoft's blessing. That's the funniest. It's like they have no choice if it's been identified by whoever they're in, which is the CWA. It's like recognize them or don't. They're still a union. But anyway, what's interesting about this story? I'm reading this. It's a summary of posts. But Tillo broke it first. Bethesda Game Studios, Elder Scrolls Starfield, has unionized under the Communication Workers of America, the CWA. This marks the first wall-to-wall union at a Microsoft video game studio, encompassing 241 workers, including, this is why it's got some heat, including artists, engineers, programmers, and designers across locations in Maryland, Texas, and Austin. Microsoft has recognized the union following its pledge to remain neutral in unionization campaigns. The move is significant in the game industry, contributing to a growing trend of unionization. So, if this is real, I know it's real. I'm not saying people are lying, but if this actually is what is being reported is correct, this is insanely surprising and also wonderful. Because this has been my thing that I've said forever, which is I am a huge fan of unions. I never understood why programmers, designers, artists, people that are sort of, quote, above the line would agree to risk what they need to risk for what it would cost to join a union. In this case, assuming what you see is what you get with the reporting, I think it's fantastic. So, and if it sticks, and if Microsoft is like, well, the people who have signed up for this union, we can't do this job without them, then in that case, holy cannoli moly, it's the beginning of the end in a good way, although game prices will probably go up. But it's the beginning of the end of the steel grip that these publishers have had on video game makers. And I don't know what the ramifications will be. Prices will go up. You'll see less crunch. You'll probably also start to see maybe worse games, not at the indie level, but you'll probably start to see, because here's the trick. Here's the problem, in my opinion. A lot of people like to parrot this line. Well, it's just bad management. That's why there's crunch. And it's like, no. I'm not saying there isn't bad management, but of course there's bad management in video games like anywhere else. But that's not, because what you're advocating for, if you solve bad management, then everything is fine. Why would you have to raise prices? You know what you're making. You just have a better manager. I've worked with 3 of the best managers in video games. They are phenomenal, and people love working for them. These are not evil assholes. The fact is, it's a cliche, it's a trope, but you're building an airplane while you're trying to get it off the runway and flying it. So you don't know what your game is. And then you can say, well, figure it out first. And what you're advocating is paper design. You're basically going to a team like Insomniac, and they'll be like, yeah, we can do that, because that's what they're doing. That's how they get their games out so frequently. They have a big staff and multiple teams, but they also are like, hey, no problem. We're going to give the team a little bit of freedom to explore, but we're following a template that we know works. Now, maybe in the long run, that will actually be better for the art form, because what it will do is say, you don't get to reinvent the wheel, game designer, game team, whatever. You are working within this structure because that's what we can afford to do, and that's what we're budgeted for. And other than a couple of percentages of contingency, we're not going to just, hey, I had this idea last night and suddenly the whole team is working, weekends for the next 3 months. Okay. And in that, you have to be more creative and a much stricter pen. And at first I could see that being problematic, but it could also potentially lead to a new group of creative designers that say, this is sort of this is the business we know as we know it. And we came up in this business with these limitations. And in that, we're going to find our way to be really creative and hold the line with the budgets. I mean, there is a good way to look at this, but I think if you basically just try to apply unionization limits, which are important, and I think it's great that Bethesda did this. If it's what we see is what we get, I think it's great. But if you're going to try to apply that to the way games are designed and the way fun is found, I think it's going to be a nightmare at first. And that's okay, because you got to go through hell to get to heaven sometimes. But I think it's very interesting. It's very interesting. J-Lord says, I think of the super chat, he says, is there a difference between progressives and woke? Witcher 3 is professor and Returnal. I think you're saying Witcher 3 is progressive, Returnal is woke, and I am an anti-woke liberal. I don't know why you think Returnal is woke. I haven't finished it. Maybe it gets woke later. But I you know what? I choose to no longer really engage with some of these terms, because you never know what the person you're talking to means, right? So when I say woke, I mean it as a compliment. I mean, it means that you are aware of the injustices and the social injustices in our society. Other people use it, and that's not even close to their mind. They're just like, oh, it just means you're trying to tell me what to do. And it's like, okay. So I'd rather it doesn't seem worth it to kind of engage in that, trying to find the definition. Just know the person, right? So you know me, you know what I stand for if you watch the show. Short of that, there's not much I can do for you. I don't know. Because if I say, oh, woke means this, I'm going to have 30 people go, no, it doesn't. It means this. I'm like, okay, what's the point? What's the fucking point? J Lord drops another super chat. Thank you, buddy. He says, I mean, Witcher 3 is progressive. I got it. Returnal is woke. You didn't have to pay me for that. I figured it out. But thanks, buddy. Okay. Let me bring in Jeremy. Jeremy, it's Jaffe. What's up?
Hey, Jaffe, can you hear me?
I can hear you. What is going on, my friend?
How you doing, man? It's Jeremy.
Good.
I met you at Ralph's about 2 weeks ago. You were in the health and beauty line.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah, but I couldn't afford anything, clearly.
You were looking at women's products, and
Yeah.
Yeah. So I came up to you like, hey, call in.
And by the way, I got to thank you for that, because I didn't know the tampon went up my butthole. Boy, that feels great. It feels great. So what's going on, bud?
Look, my name's not Jeremy. I just put that.
I don't give a fuck what your name is. I'm going to forget you the minute I hang up on you.
If I put my my YouTube name, you know who it was. So
Well, why do you not want me to know who you are?
No, I'm going to tell you who I am, but for the opening joke, you wouldn't have known who, you know who I was if I had used my name.
I see. Okay, are you going to do the joke? Are you doing the joke now?
No, I just did the joke.
You did not. Come on, do the joke. I'm ready.
No, I'm trying not to take too much of your time. I think I got some interesting things to talk about.
All right, let's do it.
Okay, so for one, I'm really tired of all this woke shit. The woke word is really blowing my fucking buzz.
Well, what? Okay, but before you go on, what do you mean? Are you tired of?
I'm tired of everything. Is like people are just like, hey, this is woke. That's woke. This is woke. That's woke. Like, what the fuck does woke mean?
Well, it depends who's saying it, right?
Yeah, it does depend who's saying it. But, like, it's like almost with any kind of media, whether it's like movies, games, whatever, it's like if there's a person of color in it or a woman, it's like woke or something like that. And it's like people weren't saying that about Resident Evil back in the day when you played as Jill, or people weren't saying that about Blade when Blade came out and Wesley Snipes was the star. So, like, why is that all of a sudden such a fucking, like, thing? Like, I don't know. It's just annoying.
Well, I think it's doing a lot. It's my guess, and I say this as a white guy, so I don't fucking know, but my guess is it is taking the brunt of a lot of the frustration on both sides of this argument. And I think when you see people, genders, races, identities, whatever, that have historically been oppressed or belittled or shamed, and then they choose to finally sort of, they find their people and they stand up and say no more. There are people that are going to really, that's not going to go down well for those people, because to them, I think the cliche paraphrase is something like, if you've been the oppressor, any kind of freedom for the other side feels unfair to you. And I think there's some of that going on. Not all of it, but I think there's a lot of that going on for sure.
Do people ever call you DJ?
DJ?
Yeah.
Just Rihanna.
What's your favorite part of a woman's body, Jaffe? Or what's the most attractive thing to you on a woman? Or about a woman?
Bags of sand. Wait, hang on. You ever see that movie? Never mind. The most attractive part of a woman to me is the back of her neck or the vagina. Like, I genuinely like the vagina. I know a lot of guys are just kind of like,
well, no, Jack, you can't say the vagina. Okay, you're out at Ralph's where I met you at in the women's aisle, right? And you see a woman, you're not going to see her vagina, hopefully.
But that's not what you asked me.
Well, I mean, okay. When you first encounter a woman,
okay,
what allures you to her?
I mean, now it's a different question, because what do I see on her? What am I looking at? Like, somebody in the chat says pretty eyes and cute feet. Well, I'm not a foot guy, but am I seeing her feet? Like, what do you? Or is she showing anything other than her face?
What is the sexiest thing about a woman to you?
Oh, I like when you are with a woman and you make them, when you see what you're doing to them and they give themselves over to that and they make those sounds and it's that sense that you have them in that sort of vulnerable position. I want to finish. I'm going to finish.
All right.
And so that you're the cause of her just letting go and making the noises and moaning and writhing around in the bed. There's something very powerful about that, is what I would say.
All right, physically, what is the most attractive part on a woman to you? The vagina, neck? What?
I like the back of the neck. I like the vagina.
I've never heard the back of the neck. That is so interesting.
You don't like going up behind a woman and kissing on the back of their neck and by their ears and stuff? They lose their shit for that, man.
I mean, as long as their neck doesn't have rolls. I mean, I've never really pictured the neck as a.
Okay, well, you answer. PK says, why not just a simple answer like eyes? Because I'm trying to give him a real fucking answer. Last Action Hero says muscles. Look, I have never been with a muscle woman, but I've seen some women that are really sexy and are also really fucking built, and I'd be like, yeah, sure, fuck it, I'll try it.
Yeah, I'm not into the muscular one.
Yeah, I don't, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, that's my answer.
Right,
yeah, look at Fenrir. Fenrir. I don't know if Fenrir is a guy or girl, but they say, ooh, kiss in the back of the neck. I love it. Yes, FBI agent was 40-year-old virgin reference. That's right. Sorry, go ahead, Jeremy. One more. Now, when are we going to learn your name?
Oh, I'm a different era.
You're a what?
A different era.
Okay.
Okay.
A different era. Okay.
Yeah. So, if we're gonna evolve past the use of controllers, what do you think the next step would be? Or do you think we shouldn't evolve past controllers as far as gaming?
Hang on. Magnum, fuck you. Magnum says, I thought Jaffe would have said Adam's apple. Oh, you son of a bitch. All right. Look, I think ultimately, yes, controllers are one of the reasons that it's really difficult to get a lot of people. Hang on, let me mute somebody here. It's difficult to get a lot of people into games because they're just so intimidating for a lot of folks. So, what I would like to see, not for all games, I never want to see these. I never want to see core games go away, but like when I'm playing this thing like Nobody Wants to Die, or I'm playing Microsoft's When Dusk Falls, I like the idea of more challenging, interesting, adult narrative-based games that look good, that have really interesting interactivity, but are still easy to play. And I don't mean they're not challenging, but I mean they really don't seem to pride themselves on, okay, if you do this button combination and wait for this pattern, it's not that. It's more about, let me take you by the hand and show you a great fucking interactive adventure. So I want to see that happen. And, but I don't think we'll ever evolve out of controllers until we can plug right in with our minds, is what I think. All right, Jeremy, thanks for the call, buddy.
All right.
All right, bud. See you later. All right, I'm going to try one more time to bring in JJ. JJ, you're muted. I didn't mute you, so if you want to come on the show, you can, but you got to unmute yourself, buddy. Are you there, bud? JJ?
Hello?
Yes, is this JJ Abrams who directed Super 8?
Yeah, hello?
Yes, hello, JJ. I think you're listening on your TV or phone because there's a delay.
Jingle Jangle J, the guy that you sang to twice.
Oh, gotcha. Well, listen, you need to listen just through your phone or your headset because what's happening is you're getting a delay, and the delay is causing you to be like 9 seconds behind.
I just wanted to say hello, and
hello.
I'm a big fan.
Thank you. Okay, thanks, buddy. I appreciate it. Sorry, JJ. The delay, I don't know. I feel like I'm talking to somebody, in outer space. Call back if you get it fixed. J Lord says, thank you for the super chat. He says, all woke means to me is female characters that are not conventionally attractive. Okay, but that's, I appreciate, okay, so if you want to take that definition, if see your Ravnos, if you want to take that definition of woke, which isn't really the definition, but I mean, whatever. I would say I've said this before. I think it's kind of goofy to me that I think people should be okay with video games where women or men are not there to get your rocks off. Do I think all games need to be that? No. Do I think anything is fundamentally wrong with having something really sexy? No. I think that's wonderful. But I think that what you've probably seen, here's what it is. Here's what I wish everybody was as great as I was when it comes to this. I know. Which is, I wish people could just be like, you know what? I still like sexy people in my games. And at the same time, you can say that. And you can also say, but I also understand that this might be an overcorrection, but it was still a correction that might be needed, because for the longest time, that is all we got in games and in media. It was absolutely so about objectifying women or relegating gay folks or black folks or Latina folks or whatever to sort of the shticky co-star. And it was always about surrounding the white straight male with a cast of characters that would let him be the hero. I think both things are very true. And I do think maybe that that there has been an overcorrection for people that are not fundamentally assholes. And in that, a lot of those people feel like they're being oppressed and being pushed back on. And all I would say to them is, you might be at the moment in that way, but you're talking about a group of people who have been historically oppressed for, in a lot of cases, many centuries. And so give them a little bit of a break if they overcorrect a little bit. But I think you can still loud and proud go, yeah, but I still like to see, horror movies with tits, and I like video game characters like Stellar Blade. I think that's fucking awesome. FBI agent, see, this is the thing I've been saying also. FBI agent says companies realizing the DEI grift wasn't profitable. But that's what I'd been saying forever, which is there are people at these companies that genuinely care about diversity. And there are people at these companies, sadly, that don't. And that might be racist or might not, they might just be so blind to it they don't even see it. But the companies themselves, they don't give a fuck. So DEI was the thing to do. Cool, we'll do DEI. And then DEI is not the thing to do. We're losing money. Let's not do DEI. And then it's going to kind of swing back and forth, and they'll just chase the money. That's not a surprise. That's not like a gotcha. It's just like, yeah, that's what companies do. But I think it would be really short-sighted and frankly cruel if, why can't the people that don't vibe with some of the way that these companies have been still acknowledge that there's still work to be done in terms of treating people fairly? I got it, Ravnos. I'll look at it in a second. Like Wayne, I would DEI is racist against white people, PK says. You know what? Again, this is what I'm saying. As a white guy, or depending on who you ask, a white presenting guy, seriously, I'm serious here. It's not like Biden. I can recognize it. It's like, okay, again, you get into the definition of racism, and it's certainly bigoted, and it's certain, but is it racist? Whatever. But the point is, though, whatever the word that works for you in describing it, we're not at a place where things are totally fair yet, right? And so the idea that, yeah, you might be a white guy and you may lately have had some pushback that you're not used to because other groups have kind of risen up and said, we're not going to take this shit anymore. We're not going to be relegated to the margins of society. We deserve to be here as much as you. And maybe there have been some choices made because society is shifting and changing that have unfairly affected you as a white person. And in that, I would say, welcome to the club. Not for me because I'm in the club you're in, but you know, we're not there yet. PG says, how are things not fair yet? Go talk to, I'm not the guy to answer that. I can answer you the rote shit. I can tell you about systemic racism and you can tell me it's not real, but it's real. It's harder for black people to get a loan. It's harder for a trans person to go in and get the same treatment everywhere that someone who's not gets, right? Same thing with anyone in the LGBT community, any minorities in this country. And that doesn't mean that you're an asshole, and it doesn't mean I'm an asshole. But to act like, what do you think? I just, all I'm saying is, if you're going to come and say, how are things not fair yet? I would say go talk to one of your black friends or one of your LGBT friends or one of your women friends and go, let's be honest about it. Do you really not think, do you think that you are being treated equally? Or do you think whatever your minority position is, do you think it harms you or it has created challenges for you that white straight men don't have? And if they say, no, there's none of that, then fine. But that's not what I hear. Okay. And I'm okay being wrong. I'd love to be wrong. It would be great if I'm wrong. Then that would mean that we're totally living in an equal society with no systemic racism and no oppression. That'd be great. Wonderful. So anyway, I mean, what are we going to do? Why don't we just stop being so mean? You know what I wish we could do? I wish we could all fight the real enemy. I wish we could all fight the enemy that is the rich fuckers who just don't give a fuck about any of us and want us to hate each other. That's what I wish. Zeke says, for the sake of argument, why for the sake of argument? Why not just it being true? But fine, let's say we're in agreement that there's work to be done. Hiring based on anything other than ability, merit, and skill is a bad idea. Just ask the Secret Service. Yeah, but I'm sorry, but that would I understand your point, but what that suggests is two things. That there is a chronic problem where you've got somebody who doesn't know their ass from a hole in the ground getting a job compared, and that person might be in the minority groups, compared to a person that is savant level gifted. And there's a chronic epidemic of that. And I'm sorry, that's not the case. And people are always hired. Before you even heard the phrase DEI or ESG, people have always been hired for reasons other than just their skill and merit. It's who you know, it's where you went to school, it's who your buddy is. It's like, there was this woman and she wasn't very sociable, but there was this other woman and she seemed like she'd be cool in the office if people were joking around, and she was kind of hot, and that'd be cool to have a hot chick around the office. That happens all the time. Why is that, to act like it's not a real thing? I don't know, man. Okay. Phil takes Blue Chew. Thanks, buddy. He says, thanks for the super chat. He says, I'm not understanding the Concord hate. From me or from other people? I think the game is really good, but it's probably just not my kind of game. But I have enjoyed playing it, and I will probably play it a handful more times this weekend. But I don't like that I can't stick with my one character. But I do like it. It's really fun. But I don't like the characters in the game, and I don't like the obsession, but I don't like the focus on them telling their story, because it makes it even seem more accurate that their focus is not where it needs to be, in my opinion, is what I would say. That's what I would say. Okay. Let me bring in Jeremy. What's up? It's Jaffe. How's it going, buddy? Oh, look at Calypso there.
Hey, Jeremy, or Jaffe, what's going on, man?
Come on now. Not much, doing a show. What's up with you?
Dude, it's very nice to meet you finally. I'm the guy doing the D&D thing.
Yes, no, I know.
Okay, yeah, I just wanted to make sure you knew who I was.
I like your icon there. It looks like it's Calypso, right?
Yeah, that's the one from the campaign there.
That's cool. He's awesome.
Yeah, I was going to ask you if you had a chance to look around the Discord at all and look at the books and how the rule set was set up.
I haven't had any chance to do it. I've been super busy. I was going to do it this weekend.
I understand that. I was just wondering if you had a chance yet. If you didn't,
Nope.
that's okay. If you do get a chance, the crew's really excited to meet you, and they want to know about what you're going to drive and maybe who you're going to drive
I
as.
no idea. I'm looking forward to it though. Let me ask you a question. So next week is a trial run, or that's an actual game you want to play and stream, or you want to do a trial run next week?
So today we actually started doing all the finalizations on the characters. That includes drivers and vehicles.
Okay.
Everyone's got their special moves, everything like that. And then we're going to start with testing on Monday till Friday. And then I wanted to contact you on either Friday night or Sunday morning about maybe streaming it for you, or however you wanted to go about streaming that.
Oh, I can't wait to stream it. Yeah. Okay. So you want to do the real first campaign next weekend?
Yeah, on Saturday
Yeah,
would
fuck
be
yeah.
great for us. That's when the
Absolutely.
whole team's ready to play. We've got it
Yep.
all organized if you're ready for that day.
I'm ready. I think we'll work out times and stuff, but I think it's great. Is this a one-shot campaign, or could it go months? I mean, what's the duration of
So
it?
the plan is we want to do like a 5-month campaign if we can make it last that long, and then go 3 months off time and shoot another one next year, kind of Critical Role style.
Got it. Okay. So you're planning on streaming it and recording it too?
Well, actually, we didn't have that plan until you offered that. So that's a
Okay.
great opportunity for us and for you to maybe get back into Twisted Metal in a different way. I know you've been looking at things like books, comic books. You've always had an inspiration for seeing Twisted Metal in different lights. So I'm trying to provide something maybe the fans like, maybe you like, maybe even Scott likes. I don't know what his opinion is on Twisted Metal these days.
Well, I don't know about Twisted Metal, but Scott's probably not much of a D&D guy.
Okay, yeah,
But I mean, he might. You never know. Maybe he's changed. I haven't talked to him in a long time. But yeah, no, I'm in at least for that first one. I'm not going to commit to anything beyond that because I may hate it. But I definitely am there for next week, and I'm looking forward to it. It sounds excellent. It sounds like a great time.
Awesome. Well, it's great meeting you, and I don't want to take any more of your time. Thanks for
Yep.
stopping by and checking us out, giving us a
Yeah, and
support.
I'll check out the details of the game this weekend. And is the campaign closed? Is it just me, or are people watching who might want to play, or you've got your seats already filled?
So the table is the guys that are in there. Those are the guys that are going to be playing, and then you as well. We had a reserve seat for you because, of course, you're the creator. We had a lot of respect for you. So
Okay, so we'll but I will be streaming it if you're interested, fellas, because I'm very curious how this goes. I love this
we
stuff.
really
so.
want to get an audience behind it somehow. So we do have a YouTube account we created for this venture. We didn't know if you wanted us to have our own or use yours, whatever you wanted to.
I don't know. Let's do a trial run next weekend, and then let's have some conversations about it.
All right, sounds good, and I'll stay in contact on Discord in the meantime.
Excellent, buddy. See you soon.
Bye bye.
All right, that sounds fun. I'm so excited for that. And Jingle Jangle's playing. Yeah, no, I'm going to stream this. I mean, he's clearly a hardcore Twisted fan, so I'm very interested to see what somebody else does with the lore. I role play this shit. I am not one of these guys that's embarrassed to role play. I'm not going to be David Jaffe. If I show up and I'm playing, I don't know who these characters are yet, but if I'm Daniel Grimm, I'm fucking Daniel Grimm, motherfucker. I'm going to talk like him. I'm going to talk in character. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck if these guys like Jeremy and Jingle Jangle. I don't give a fuck if they're like, okay, Jaffe's going deep. I don't give a fuck. That's what's fun about it. I like to lose myself in those fantasies, man. So I'm in. I am in. All right. So let me move on. I want to show you guys. Anyway, back to the Bethesda thing. I mean, goodness goddamn gracious, the Bethesda thing, right? I mean, so let's see what happens. I'm very curious. And no one, I challenge you, because people are like, Jaffe doesn't like unions. No, never said that. I said you'll never get the artists, engineers, programmers, and designers. And it looks like Bethesda, if the reporting is to be believed, if the reporting is to be believed, they got those guys and girls, and that's excellent. So maybe they're really off to the races. I am very curious how this goes down. Let's see. See if there's any more news about it. Yeah, nothing yet. But we'll see. We'll see what it does. I don't think it's RIP gaming, Wayne. I think if it actually happens, it's going to bring about a lot of fucking changes. In a good way, but maybe not at first. listen, I want to tell you guys something. I want to tell you some stuff that's happening right now for members, because I think you need to be a member, because otherwise you have rocks in your head. New war story went up. It was my very first game interview. I went through this as like a 10-minute video, but ended up becoming like a 35-minute video where we just talked about it. My desire to be famous, some bullshit I said back then, some shit I said back then that was actually quite wise, that still holds up. This just went up today. If you're a Cult of Calypso member, you can watch it. On Monday, it opens to all members at any tier. And then yesterday we did one of our Let's Read. We did PSM 41, February 2001. That was a lot of fun. We actually had one of the editors, Stephen Frost, call in, who edited this issue and was heavily involved in PlayStation Magazine. And that is available right now for all members, but it goes live to everybody on... It goes live to everybody on Monday. So keep an eye out for that. I want to tell you what I've been playing. Let me see what the chat says, though. FBI agent says unionization equals increase in prices and longer development. It could. Like I said earlier, there's a couple of things that will happen. I think unionization will ultimately mean... It definitely is going to raise prices and make games take longer, blah, 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 for sure. But I also think fundamentally what it could do is make games better. Not the process of making them, but which will do that too. But I think when you have those limitations, suddenly creative people know how to work with limitations if they're really creative. And in that, we might actually get a more standardized model of production, which at the beginning would hurt, right? You're going to get a lot of cookie cutter shit in order to not pay that overtime and all that shit. But in the long run, people have to be competitive. So it's like, well, this is our standard of production, just like the movies have, just like TV has. And so now our pen to be creative might have gotten smaller, but it's going to actually lead to some really interesting solutions to that. So I'm actually looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to it. I think it's a good thing. Throne in Liberty started this weekend. This is a beautiful game. I think it's on console, but I'm playing it on PC right now. It is probably not my cup of tea. It's a free MMO from NCSoft and from Amazon. It's really good. The story is cool. The presentation is cool. The graphics are great. It's clearly got a lot of deep systems in it. it's too much for me. Like I can only handle one of these kind of free service games at a time. And I think right now, it's probably going to be more me sticking with Almost Human, at least for a little bit. Obviously, we talked about Concord already. What is the term cookie cutter? If you're talking about what I was just talking about, unions, if you talk to the people over at Insomniac Games, one of their superpowers is being able to ship really great commercial, compelling software regularly in an industry that is taking longer and longer to make their games. But one of the negative things is that they clearly are able to do that because a lot of their games are pretty much following a pattern. Spider-Man, Spider-Man 2, Miles Morales, even Ratchet and Clank. They're very similar games in a lot of ways. And of course, and I think if you've looked at the Wolverine leaks, you know what you're getting. And that doesn't mean that the creative directors aren't going to bust their asses to sort of break out of that pen where they can. But what it does is it allows them to have more of a manageable production and a dependable and a predictable production. And so that's what I mean. You're going to have to risk that for a while until creatives learn how to work within that and still make super amazing shit. And I don't know how that's going to go. It's going to take a while. Jaffe, do you think Gina Carano ever gets uncanceled? I mean, I don't think she's a big enough actress that anybody cares about. I didn't follow this all that much. My understanding is she compared Jews during the run-up to the Holocaust in Germany to something else that maybe it was people who didn't want to get vaccinated. I don't fucking know. And I thought it was stupid, and I thought it was uneducated, and I thought it was ignorant, but so what? I'm tired of that. I'm fucking tired of that. People have a right to have opinions and also just to be wrong. I don't think she's a moron. She might be a nice, smart lady, but in that subject, she's very uneducated. But just like everybody else, she has a right to express her opinion. And just like everybody else, every other company, I guess Disney was worried that in expressing that opinion, it would harm their product. And I can't speak to that. But I can tell you, for me, I don't like seeing people lose their jobs because they have awful views. In my opinion, as long as those views don't come into the workplace and affect the moment-to-moment product or the other people working there, I think it's a ludicrous idea that people have to think the same goddamn fucking thing. That seems goofy, man. That seems goofy. Worrying to me, actually. The amount of dipshit, low IQ fucktards who are anti-union is baffling, says Ravnos. Do you all live in Bumpkinville, or are you Walmart employees who believe the lies you were told? I don't see how you could be anti-union. I mean, I know unions are going to be good and bad like anything else, but look, you think the corporations are going to treat people well? They don't give a fuck about you. Come on now. Sony was always a great company to me, but, you know, in terms of the people who I reported to and made decisions, but they're still a company. They're still, you know, they're all still terrified of losing their jobs, and they do what they got to do. But there's nothing fundamentally wrong with unions. You're basically saying, hey, give workers the ability to protect themselves from unmitigated greed. How is that a bad thing? Unless you're the greed. I'm excited for this game. I don't know if I like it any more than I like Concord, which is to say I like Concord, but I don't plan on playing it. I'm going to buy Concord. This is free, and it's Marvel. They just released this. This is Adam Warlock, who is kind of a C-tier character. I think, he's got a huge power ratio in the game and in the comics, but most people, you know, he's one of those cosmic heroes with like Silver Surfer and all that. Most people don't know who he is. I think he's in one of the recent movies. But anyway, point being, this is Adam Warlock. He's cool. I've always liked Adam Warlock, and he's in the game, and I'm looking forward to playing this. I hope I can get into the beta. I've done all the hoops. I've jumped through all the hoops that I need to jump through, and I still haven't gotten an email saying that, you are in. But hopefully I will be. We'll find out. In the chat, and I do like how all the characters in the Marvel game, they move in really interesting ways. I like how Spider-Man moves and Venom moves really cool. So I'm excited for it. I want to play it. Okay. J-Lord says it should be illegal to fire people for saying anything, period. The very nature of not being able to fire somebody, I mean, then that's infringing on the free speech of the company. If Disney, for example, can't fire a worker who runs around Disneyland yelling the N-word and doing anti-Semitic slurs, then what they're being told by that law violates their First Amendment, right? Which is, if you want to express your private business in a way that those things are not welcomed here, you're not allowed to do that, or you'll be arrested. I don't think it's as simple as you're making it out to be. Okay. Ravno says, name me a union that's pro-outsourcing. I don't think he's saying that unions will outsource. I think he's saying that the minute you go to a company and say your product that was going to cost, $50 is now going to cost $90. No, whatever. Just let's say okay, here's a better one. Thor's hammer and Marvel Rivals, assuming it's made by a union group, that hammer would have cost in a union company $14,000 to make because of the overtime, and the director wanted it a little bit different. Then Marvel had to come back and say, no, that's not exactly how the hammer looks. Or the company could have outsourced it to a company in Hong Kong or something and had it done for $600. And in that $600, there were iterations, 2 iterations they could get. And you could say, yes, but it wouldn't be as good. And I would point you to Fortnite, and I would point you to Roblox, and I would point you to Among Us and all the games that are making more money than these beautiful produced games. And, and go, they won't care. They'll just go, okay, well, let's pivot. They're a business. In the same way these guys are throwing out DEI companies, because as much as some of them may want to believe they're good humans, they pray to the almighty dollar at the end of the day. You know, the minute unions start making demands, the only leverage they have is we'll walk out. And that may work for a specific game, but you can best believe that the people in charge are going to go, do we really want to greenlight another game that is like The Last of Us that we can only make here in America with this specific team and some outsourcing? Or do we want to say, fuck it, these other companies are making games, you know, that pretty much look like shit compared to our games, but the audience doesn't seem to care and they're making more money. What do you think they're going to do? Speaking of, by the way, I do want to tell you, this game, not this game, we talked about that already. I don't know where it is. Almost, or no, what's called Once Human or whatever, that fucking game. The title is always leaving me. Is it Once Human? If you are still crying over the lack of The Last of Us online, play this. I understand it's not exactly that. It's not the story, but it is a post-apocalyptic survival game. It's more like The Last of Us meets Control meets Kojima meets Stranger Things. But as I'm playing this, it really, I mean, you're fighting zombies. You're crafting all kinds of shit to fight these monsters. You're killing animals to get their bones and leather and shit to make weapons and bows and arrows. You can play it with your friends. You can play it by yourself. I mean, it's a online game, so people are going to be around, but it is free. Yes. It's really good. It's really fun. I don't know how long I'll be engaged with it. You can make motorcycles and ride motorcycles around. I'm telling you, it should be on your radar if you are one of those people that liked Last of Us, not just because of the story. The story is really cool in this, but that's not their priority in this. But if you like the action of Last of Us, the crafting, the zombies, the post-apocalyptics, and Days Gone, this is good stuff. It's good stuff. Yeah, Chris says it's free. Hang on, I got to cough. 1 sec, fellas. Oh my God, man! Hope I'm not getting sick. With Biden, I got a touch of the COVID. Last 2 things. I've been playing the shit. Oh shit! This is called #Blood. If you ever watch like The Amazing World of Gumball, this is so well done. It's like a Zelda, like 2D. Oh, there's Zelda right there, or Link. It's like a Zelda RPG. Action RPG. It's nowhere near as good as those games when it comes to like the combat's a little soft and it's not, so what I would say is this is if you're looking for a great action RPG and that's your priority, absolutely keep looking. This is not a bad one, but it's absolutely slightly above middle of the road when it comes to moment to moment. But if you love cartoons, and you love, these kinds of worlds, they nail the fuck out of it. So if you're here for the story and the world and the experience, it is just excellent. It is so fucking good. If you're, like I said, the critics have kind of hammered it on maybe the fighting's not as great. Yeah, okay. There's truth there. It's not bad. It's just kind of, sometimes the collision's a little weird and shit like that. But this is delightfully great if you want to live inside a Cartoon Network show. And that's what this is. I highly recommend it if that is what you're looking for. It's called #Blood. I've been playing a lot of it. I'm not going to play it on stream because there's so much narrative, even though it's in real time. So it's not like it feels slow. And there's a lot of reading, and I read pretty fast, and I always feel bad streaming games with lots of reading because I don't want to read it. because it exhausts me. All right, Jingle Jingle, good to see you, buddy. So I feel like, is this the best game to stream? But regardless, though, it's really good. I recommend it. It's called #Blood. I think it's on everything right now, but I know it's on PC. I think it's on PS5. I'm not sure what else it might be on. And then finally, along with Mutant Mo, I'm playing a shit ton of Angerfoot. This is... hang on. This is just great. Once I got the controls positioned to a way that I like them, it's so funny and it's so fun and it's so addictive and it's so fast. I love it. It's Angerfoot. This is out. I don't think this is out on console. I think this is only on, I think you can only get this on PC right now, but I'm sure that it's coming. And then, yeah, the Kunitsugami Path of the Goddess, is getting really good reviews, and it's on Game Pass as well. So if you have Game Pass, there you go. You know, but I played the demo of it. I liked it. Not really enough to pull me away, but I did enjoy it for sure. I want to jump to, I can deal with these in other conversations for sure, because there's some good topics, but I want to jump to this. I want to talk to you guys about this thing that's kind of freaking me out a little bit. And we're going to, now again, we'll talk about whatever you want for a little bit. I hear Bowpath is great as well. So if you want to talk games, we can, but I want to talk UFOs for a minute because, and I just want to show you guys some clips. Because I don't get scared. I talked about this on one of the streams recently. I don't get scared of aliens. I grew up with E.T. and Close Encounters and, you know, benign, sweet aliens macking me and all that shit. And so I never got the whole 50s terror of aliens. And this is definitely not video game related. So if you're like, what the fuck's he talking about? It's free chat, free swim Friday. Fuck off. But I wanted to share this. But I saw a couple things on the internet recently that when I put two and two together, you know, unlike Terrence Howard, I didn't get zero. It freaked me out. And I partially enjoyed being freaked out because I rarely get freaked out. And it's also kind of disturbing because it's one of those things that, you know, I don't believe in hell. I certainly don't believe in religious gods and all that stuff. So none of that stuff ever really worked to motivate me. But then when I saw some of this, I was like, that's disturbing. Maybe it is to you, maybe it's not. I'm going to show you a couple of the clips I saw first, and then I'll tell you where my head went, okay? Excuse me. So this first clip, it's only like a minute. I may have shown it on a previous show, but it goes in really well with this new thing. This new clip that I saw that just went up the other day. But this is who is this guy? Is it Greer? He's one of those UFO guys. Hang on. Bob Lazar is who this one is, okay? And he's talking about his experiences looking at some texts that are highly classified, okay? I'm going to play this one for you first. It gets turned up, hang on. Yeah, you guys can't hear him. I'll paraphrase. You can see there's subtitles. The next clip you'll be able to hear. But he's really low. I was going to make a video of this, and I turned it up there. But the gist of it, though, was he's saying he came across these documents. I want to say that They were in Area 51. It's Bob Lazar. They were super classified. And they said that the aliens or whoever is in power basically look at us like containers. And the interviewer says, containers for what? And he says, you know, we don't really know. Maybe it's for the soul. Maybe it's for something else. But he says the document is about religion was created so that we would not harm the containers. So it would keep the containers around, right? Okay, so that's the first part. This is from the 70s. So, you know, if you follow this stuff, and I've been going down the rabbit hole recently, which is probably not a healthy thing, but, you know, it is what it is. I find it fascinating. But then that against this that was up a couple of days ago, this is a former CIA officer, Jim Simivan. He's also the co-founder of To the Stars, which is the thing with the Blink 182 guy, right? Yeah, that's right, Bukaki. That's right. Here's what he said, because he was talking about people asking, I don't know what, hang on. Maybe the aliens got me. He was talking about people who are in the know and what they've said. Okay, so here you go. And this is the guy who like worked with Harry Reid and worked with the government. You know, this is not some fly-by-night dude. Doesn't mean these guys are trustable always, but it's worth being aware of. Here you go.
People who I know are in the know, and I've mentioned this before, and one of them told me the truth is indigestible. It's not something that we could, that we would be able to fully grasp or entertain, and that it's like, you know, it would be like telling somebody something that they can't do anything about, and they don't know what the repercussions of that would be. It's so great. It's so world changing and transformational, and maybe not in a good way, you know? So,
I mean, what could be so jarring? What could be so disruptive? I mean, bless you.
thank you.
Like the idea that we're being visited by another advanced intelligence that's more advanced than us. I mean, do you think, or is it something else?
I think it's much deeper than that. I think, you know, if you talk to the ordinary American, I mean, it's so funny. We're talking about this. The listeners that are out there, we're part of a group.
And then there's also somebody in the chat was like, look into this one guy. Yeah, exactly. I'm scared of aliens, Jingle. Thank you for that. You know, some of these guys get debunked and some of these guys get kind of, you know, Phil Schneider, for example, who I was looking into. There's a lot of people saying he's a total con artist. So you don't really know. But and maybe the reason you couldn't hear Lazar, let me go back now. I think I have it working. I think it was because, tell me if you can hear this.
So far out, all right, you're
All right, here you go. Can you hear that or no?
extremely classified document dealing with religion, and it's about that sect. Period. But why would there be any classified material dealing with religion?
I want to go back to the religion thing. I want you to say it.
It's so far out.
All right, your objection has been noted.
Okay.
What does it say?
That we're containers. That's how supposedly the aliens look at us. That we are nothing but containers.
Containers of?
Containers.
Okay, so anyway, and where this got me going, and I'm not saying I'm some kind of, you know, brilliant thinker on this. It's a pretty common theory, but I had not seen all these things put together. Where I look at it now and I go, you know, the real scary thing is that yeah, I'm a container for Diet Coke, because they also talk about, it's like people are going to be very stunned when they learn that we are not the apex predator on this planet. And so I have been going through this life feeling as if I die and there's nothing That's cool. It doesn't have to be anything. Maybe there's something, maybe there's not, whatever. But I've never felt like, it's like, okay, what, but I've always felt like if there is something, but, of course I would, why would I not get to know what that is, right? And then when you start hearing this, that we're these containers and that it's not that there are aliens that are smarter, it's undigestible. This information is, if you heard it, a lot of people just wouldn't be able to get their heads around it. A shift in our position of how we view ourselves. If we are animals, basically, for these people, if the earth is basically just a big pen that we're waiting in, and maybe over the years they feed off of us in a quantum level, or the reason we get older is because they feed off our time. Something where we're really nothing unique enough to ever understand any of this. We're just being bred and created and kept alive so they can basically eat us. That's creepy. And it's not the fact that, oh, you're going to get eaten by an alien. It's the fact that that's not scary to me. The thing that's scary is that our place in the existence where we get to know what's going on, that is now in question, right? And I'm not saying that's what they're saying, but, a lot of this is leading to that when you study it and when you read about it, but you never know who's telling the truth. It could all be horseshit. They're doing that to every living creature. So this guy that I was saying was debunked, I don't know if he was debunked, but he was basically looked at as maybe he's not very trustworthy. Listen to what he says. This guy died a handful of years back, but listen to what this guy said. It's like a minute long. It's no big deal.
To look at a human being as a bag of food. They're not cannibals. They don't eat the flesh and the bones and all that kind of stuff. They use the glandular secretions of animals and human beings as a mixture of the vitamins for their food. They get high off of our adrenal gland substances called adrenal chrome. It's something like cocaine to them. To look at a human being as a bag.
Right. So again, it's when you start to think about, some of these scenarios, they're disturbing, and not disturbing because we're a bag of food, but disturbing because it's like, that's it. That was the mystery the whole time, is that we're not even smart enough to be engaged in the discovery. We're just things for much higher beings to eat. It's disturbing. I don't like it. Ravino, see, I don't agree with that. I understand your position, but when you say something like in the chat, you said, where did it go? Excuse me. These sad people making shit up because they're terrified of rotting in a box is sad. This is what I'm saying. You have to push beyond that, right? Because to silence or to minimize the search because you think it comes from a mind that's just terrified of death being nothing. I'm sure that's the case for some people. It's certainly not the case for me. I'm okay if when all this is over, it's just back to a void. I'm not going to have any problem with that, because why would I? I won't have any awareness. But I think that can be accurate, and I still can be fascinated. See, I don't agree, $6. People make it up because the human brain can't comprehend not existing. Yes, but I can comprehend I don't know what it would be like to not exist, but I don't think it would be bad. It wouldn't be anything. And that doesn't fill me with terror. But the conversation and the search, I think, is fascinating. I don't know. Here's what I do know, fellas. That's been Gabbing and Games for Friday. Goddamn Cockadoodie 719. I appreciate you hanging out with me. Thank you, guys. Thank you for the super chats. Thank you, new members. Don't forget, there will be some stuff happening this weekend. I don't know if I'm going to do a pot and popcorn this weekend. I might. I'll definitely be streaming some games. And then obviously we're back. What do you mean that's it? We've been going for 2 hours. I'll definitely be back next week with Gabbins and Games. More game-centric stuff. Is it Thursday? It might be Thursday. I don't know. Alexa, what's today? What's the day? Alexa, is it Saturday?
No, today is Friday, July.
It's Friday. Yeah. Okay. Why would a race of beings who can travel faster than light use us as cattle but not control us? Just let us be vile, disgusting apes who murder and pillage. Well, again, you don't know. I don't think they travel faster than light. They probably fold space-time, and they're probably just like, they probably go all over the universe maybe and set up little farms called planets where they can raise their crops, which are living entities, and then they can, feast off them just like we do with cows, right? That's what I'd say. I'm not saying that's what's happening. I'm saying that those things coming together in the span of a week freaked me out. I take it from someone who spoke to hospice care yesterday, says Brandon. When confronted with death, your mind tends to think of these things. Jaffe's not wrong. Yeah, I mean, and hopefully I haven't been confronted with death. I'm not looking to die anytime soon. But I think it's interesting. I've always thought about these things. I've always wondered. And I think it's fun to wonder, and it's healthy to wonder. I mean, that's kind of part of the game, man. So anyway, point being, be well, be safe. Thank you guys for hanging out. I will see you very, very soon. Like the show if you liked it. Sub if you want to sub. Buy a membership if you're curious about such shenanigans that goes on behind the paywall. Wink. And in the meantime, be well, be safe out there, and I will talk to you guys on the next show. Bye, every booty. Every booty. Matt Booty.